Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear students of MA final year, how you folks are doing? Hope you people are doing fine and you are in a hearty mood to receive what I am going to say to you. And in our today's session, I will discuss section 7 of Song of Myself, and I will recite section 7, and later I will tell you the interpretation and critical appreciation of this section, and also tell you the explanation of a number of lines. And let me begin with recitation of section 7. Has anyone supposed it lucky to be born? I hasten to inform him or her it is just as lucky to die, and I know it. I pass death with the dying and birth with the newest babe, and am not contained between my hat and boots, and pursue manifold objects, no two alike and everyone good, the earth good and the stars good, and their adjuncts all good. I am not an earth, nor an adjunct of an earth. I am the mate and companion of people, all just as immortal and fathomless as myself. They do not know how immortal, but I know. Every kind for itself and its own. For me, mine, male and female. For me, those that have been boys and that love women. For me, the man that is proud and feels how it stings to be slighted. For me, the sweetheart and the old maid. For me, mothers and the mothers of mothers. For me, lips that have smiled, eyes that have shed tears. For me, children and the begetters of children. And rape, you are not guilty to me, nor stale, nor discarded. I see through the broadcloth and gingham, whether or no, and am around tenacious, acquisitive, tireless, and cannot be shaken away. My dear students, you have heard the recitation of this poem, and now I will tell you the interpretation and critical appreciation of this wonderful poem. This section shows the self of Whitman becoming elastic and all-embracing. It enlarges till it engulfs the entire mankind in itself. The poet stresses that living or dying are equally important and significant. One need not think it to be lucky to live and become gloomy at the thought of death. It says that death is a transformation into a different state of being, so one need not be dejected at the idea of death. It says that self is just not something contained between my hat and boots. He wants the self to expand and enhance and identify with the manifold objects in the universe. It should become whatever it sees. It exists with the living. The poet gives himself as an example in the study of self. He clarifies that his self is not connected to any one place on the earth. His self belongs to the sky, to the earth. He likes the men, the women, the young and the old. All are equally mysterious, immortal and important. The humankind may not be aware of it, but he, being a poet, is conscious of it. The latter half of the section elaborates on mankind who are dear to the poet, and the poet loves all mankind. They may be boys, men, women, old maids, the rich, the poor, the good and the bad. He is a companion to the people belonging to all walks of life. That is, the poet likes people of all walks of life. All are equal and important to him, and no one is insignificant to him. The self of Whitman becomes an onlooker sharing the experiences in life. The self embraces everything in the universe. This is the beginning of the mystical journey of the poet. The journey begins with the self observing life, and the mystic touch commences when the self transcends the earthly bounds. And my dear students, now I will tell you the explanation of these lines. I am not an earth, not an adjunct of an earth. I am the mate and companion of people, all just as immortal and fathomless as myself. They do not know how immortal, but I know. These few lines disclose that the self is not limited to any physical stature or dimension. The self of the poet, for example, is not bound or limited to the earth alone. The self belongs to the earth, to the universe, to all place. The self is a companion of all people, and the self encompasses everything. The self is not bound by life and death. It is expansive. It includes everything in this universe. The awareness of self leads to realization of the soul. The soul is immortal. It has no death. Thus, the poet says, all beings are immortal and fathomless and boundless. Being a poet, he knows it, whereas the others, the common people, do not know it. And this is a very simple and lucid poem, and I hope if you go through the poem word for word, word by word, sentence by sentence, you will learn everything, and you will also know the meaning. The meaning is very simple, and I will tell you to write a critical appreciation of this wonderful poem. And with these few words, I would like to wrap up my discussion for today. Thank you very much, my dear students.